Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into some of the most complex, just jaw-dropping ethical puzzles of our time, and they all come from the internet's favorite moral battleground. Let's get right into it.
You know that moment, you're in a disagreement, things are heated, and then suddenly you have this thought that stops you in your tracks? Wait a second, am I the one who's wrong here? It's a pretty universal and uncomfortable feeling. Well, that exact question is the entire reason Reddit's Am I the Asshole forum exists. You've probably heard of it, AITA for short. It's this place where people anonymously post their messiest personal conflicts, and then millions of strangers get to weigh in and pass judgment. It's become this wild and honestly sometimes shocking peek into how people really are. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to kick things off with some truly unreasonable family demands. Then we'll dive into some deep betrayals in close relationships. After that, we'll look at what happens when boundaries get crossed in public. And finally, we'll try to figure out what we can learn from all this madness. Okay, first up, family. You know, they can be our greatest source of support, but as we're about to see, they can also be the source of our most tangled, complicated conflicts. This is where those lines between love, duty, and just your own personal space can get really, really blurry. So we're starting with an absolute bombshell. Seriously, picture this. The father, who was basically a ghost for your entire life, suddenly shows up because he's dying and needs a kidney. Your kidney. And you've got the whole family coming at you, calling you selfish and telling you it's your duty. I mean, this is basically emotional blackmail 101, right? The stakes are literally life and death. And that whole "but we're family" line, it's not a reason, it's a weapon. The real issue here, the deep violation, is this insane idea that just because you share DNA with someone, you somehow owe them a piece of your body. Okay, let's switch gears a bit, but we're still deep in manipulative family territory. In this one, a sister is demanding, not asking, demanding that her sibling name their new baby after their late mother. She's using grief basically as a tool to control one of the most personal decisions you can make. It's just a complete hijacking of a happy moment. All right, this next one, wow, it feels like it's straight out of a movie. You've got a mother-in-law-to-be at the wedding dress fitting who flat out calls the bride's dress cheap, and that offer to buy a proper one? Come on, that's not generosity. That's a straight-up power move, designed to humiliate her and take control of the moment. And to wrap up our family section, here's one that could only happen in our modern, super online world. A grown man is suing his own parents for posting his childhood pictures online for literally 20 years without his okay. They just say, oh, we were just proud parents. But the violation here is huge. It's about privacy and the right to decide what your own story looks like online. All right, moving on from family drama, but we're not out of the woods yet. Let's talk about our closest relationships, our friends, our partners. These are the bonds we build on trust. And when that trust gets broken, boy, the fallout is just devastating. So get this. We have a bride who asks her best friend, her maid of honor, to do something just unbelievable. She doesn't just ask for help with the seating chart. She demands her friend lose a significant amount of weight, all for the sake of the wedding photos. It's pretty clear what matters more here, right? The pictures, not the person. And just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. A husband secretly, deliberately throws away his wife's birth control pills. And his reason for this insane act of deception? He says he knew she wanted kids, even though she said she didn't. This goes so far beyond betrayal, it's a violation with consequences that could last a lifetime. So when you put these two stories side by side, you see something really interesting. The bride's demand is out in the open, it's direct. The husband's deception, on the other hand, is sneaky and hidden. But at the end of the day, it's the exact same thing. Both stories are about one person deciding they have the right to control someone else's body, whether it's for a picture or for a baby. It's a total disregard for their autonomy. Okay, for our last round of stories, we're zooming out a little. We're talking about the conflicts that happen in public or at work, with roommates, landlords, coworkers, the places where you'd think the rules would be a little clearer. Spoiler alert, they're not. Okay, this story is just wild. A guy thinks his landlord is spying on him, so he sets up his own camera. And what does he find? He catches the landlord red-handed installing hidden cameras. But here's the kicker. When he shows everyone the proof, he's the one who gets called paranoid. I mean, this is textbook gaslighting, right? Making you feel like you're the crazy one even when you have the receipts.
And finally, we've got a little story of what you might call workplace karma. So, one coworker tries to get another one fired for stealing office supplies, but management actually investigates. Not only do they find out the accused person was innocent, they owned the supplies themselves, but they also uncover a whole history of the accuser making this stuff up. So their whole scheme to get their colleague fired, it blew up right in their face. You just gotta love it when that happens. Okay, so we've gone through 8 absolutely wild stories. What's the takeaway here? What's the common thread that ties a fight over a kidney to a fight about office supplies? Let's try to make some sense of it. When you really break it down like this, you start to see a pattern, don't you? In the family stories, it all comes back to this feeling of entitlement, this idea that you're owed something. With partners and friends, it's all about control and deception, and honestly, treating people like objects. And out in the public or professional world, it's just pure malice and a complete refusal to be held accountable. The specific demands are different, but that core disrespect for another person's boundaries, that's the same every single time. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. These stories are extreme, sure, but the pressures they show up in our own lives too, in smaller ways. It really makes you think, right? In a world that's so quick to judge and where everyone has an opinion, how do you figure out where your lines are? And maybe more importantly, how do you find the strength to defend them? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.